Hello. Hey, howdy YouTube. Guess I'm doing a Friday night live stream. There isn't really much of a topic, but recently I've been messing around with TempleOS. I'm probably gonna make a short post about it, but let's see how this goes. Um, hmm, quite odd. Am I getting audio? Is anyone here? I think I am getting audio. Um, well, now that I have some viewers, yeah, I've been working on well, I don't know. I was gonna call this like a TempleOS live stream, but I'm not quite sure. You guys can like read the CRT monitor, but it's 640 by 480. Oh wait, it doesn't look like it's flashing. Okay, maybe I'll like start it up. I still need to figure it out. It's kind of a little bit more complicated than you'd imagine. Oh, and hi iClickson and hi Reed Williams. What's up? I haven't really been doing too much today. So, how was like your day or week's gone? I guess since it's Friday night. Um, I have no clue how to say that. iClickson. Uh, by the way, if you're viewing this at a later date, that is a weird star symbol with a bunch of things with a face in the middle. Unicode characters, right? Anyways, well, that's good. iClickson, that you're doing better than usual. So, yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about eventually making a TempleOS video. Probably should turn the CRT monitor off, but first I was thinking I was just going to make a video about my CRT monitors. So I have some interesting ones. The current one that was earlier in the stream. Oh, hey, Sleepy Dog. He says hey, by the way. It's kind of ironic. I have a dog now. I had to move him inside because he kept chewing on the Ethernet cord. But yeah, I have this IBM CRT monitor from like the 80s. Not quite sure exactly when. It's color and does 640 by 480. Also want a Trinitron from Sun Microsystems. Oh, Eclipson says, do you read books? I read manuals. But typically, well, I guess I do read textbooks and things. I don't really read fiction. So I guess in that sense, I don't really read a lot of books. Oh, that's great. Well, I'm glad you bought your first X200S. It's actually a very nice computer. I kind of don't have a reflow gun, so I actually like send them off to I think this one guy on eBay to get the chips replaced because soldering to the WSON 8 chip is a little bit of a nightmare. But if you have a SOIC chip and you mess up the ROM, you can always do a quick reflash. But unfortunately, I don't have the proper equipment at the moment to do a, well, I guess chip swap with one of the SOIC chips. But if you do want to try that, I guess you can go for it. The X200S has that WSON 8 chip, which isn't exactly designed to be soldered to. iClickson, I do not care. Like, I actually don't care about pronouns. So, yeah, just call me whatever. I'm GPL3 licensed. I don't know. I think GPL2 is a better license. But out of curiosity, Sleepy Dog, since you just bought your first X200S, what's sort of did you get the like 1440 by 900 panel or the standard 1280 by 800 panel? It's I like the 1440 by 900 panel. I mean, I can deal with 1280 by 800, but it's a little bit lacking in terms of pixel depth. Just gonna open my Mountain Dew Kickstart. real quick. Well, you can tell from the visual images. If the Lenovo logo is on the left side, you have a 1440 by 900 panel. On the right side, it's the 1280 by 800 panel. But if you do have the 1280 by 800 panel, you could upgrade it to a AFFS display, I believe. And iClickson says, what is your opinion of the Portage Package Manager? I've used Gentoo a little bit, but I kind of find it neat as a concept, but most of my systems are quite old, so I don't actually have that much familiarity with it. I typically just used apt-get. I have used Pacman before for a reasonable period of time. Oh, and just for advice to Sleepy Dog over there with the X200S, you need to do a lid swap if you want to change panel resolutions from 1440 to 1280 or vice versa. They have different lid plastics and cables, so that's why you can tell from the Lenovo logo. Undefined says, could you describe the taste of your drink? Well, tastes like orange, citrus. I don't know how to. It tastes like orange soda. Well, oh, Sleepy Dog. Sorry you did not get the 1440 by 900 panel, but you can always like, if you don't have that panel, you can get a nicer looking, like in terms of visual appearance, not pixel depth panel if it has the CFL display. Reed Williams says Fedora is the best, and Undefined. Oh wait, actually, never mind. iClicksim says, if you had a powerful CPU, would you use Gentoo? I might. I kind of like binary packages. I have thought of using like a distcc sort of option before, but honestly, I like having the same operating system on everything, and Debian works quite well for that. I'm kind of upset they dropped Pentium 1 support and 486 support a generation before that. Jesse's the latest you can run on a Pentium 1 or a K2. Fedora, We the People says Fedora Silver Blue. You know, I've actually never tried out Fedora. I don't know if Nicholas, I am Tripcode Q7. I am sometimes on 4chan, but I do live streams on generally Linux and ThinkPads, and I also make videos. Let's see if I can get this second monitor over here to start up a TempleOS instance without killing the live stream here. I have to reinstall it, so let me see if you guys want to check out that. It seems like this camera actually works out okay with this monitor. Let me just swing it forward a tad. Oh, great. It has CRT flicker. That's terrible. No. Well, I guess I can just show it really quick. I'll probably make a proper video on it later. Let's see if there's a way to get this a little bit better appearing. Okay, you guys are just gonna have to be stuck with that. So, let's see. Ooh, I have a spelling mistake. So we're just gonna go fix distro and turn it lowercase like that. Run this again. I've done a little bit of like not end of the world preparations, but pandemic preparations. We the people. Um, well, iQuickson says, have you read about Intel's latest discovered vulnerability yesterday? No, I have not. But let's see here. View full screen. By the way, if you ever do make a QEMU TempleOS install, or really QEMU in general, and go full screen, Michael Valentino says CRT monitors of world peace. Well, there is. Oh my God, this is way over contrasted. I can't. It's a webcam. I can't really get it to focus. Oh, what the? What is that? Okay. But, I'm going to finish this little install up really quick. Probably should tag this with TempleOS. But Alan Gomez says, rest in peace, King Terry Davis, and I agree. I wish he was still around, actually. Some of his stuff's still a little bit buggy, or at least on the latest release. But it installs fine on QEMU. Let me see. I guess it's on the third monitor. Yeah. Am I in here yet? Yes, I am now in the VM. But by the way, on QEMU, I think it's Control Alt G to get your mouse pointer out, and Control Alt F2 to end the QEMU install. So yes, I am installing it on a virtual machine. So let me press a key, and now we just wait. So yeah, it's TempleOS. I'm planning on doing a little bit more in-depth video on it. I did modify one of their demo programs, but the OS, I managed to mess it up. So I had to make a script for reinstallation as well as one for installation. Anyways, DistroTube is here. But let me check up on the comments. We the People says CRT monitors gave me a bone tumor. I'm very sorry. I don't think they emit that much radiation, but I don't know. I mean, did you sleep with the one? Like, just like, or like, I don't know. But yeah, TempleOS is kind of interesting, but it's very unfamiliar in terms of UI. And it doesn't help that the CRT monitor is located at a 90-degree angle from the keyboard in this case. I think I actually have another keyboard plugged in because of that. Sleepy Dog says CRTs are dangerous. Well, my only dislike of them is they're not filmed well on camera. As you can tell, that is the actual CRT dimming, not the well, I mean, it's on the camera, it's not in person. I do have a little bit of fear of vacuum implosion from these older models like this. This one's actually from the 80s. DistroTube says TempleOS is great. Everyone should learn to program in Holy C. It's actually quite similar to, well, normal C. I did write or modify one of the programs in the demo section that just drew lines on the screen to make a little curve. I just made it draw a second curve. But that was just modifying an extra line to a for loop, so not exactly that intensive. I honestly think it's actually a pretty cool operating system, though. I mean, I never used a Commodore 64, but it does kind of remind me of what that would look like. Ron S says, is there a Nix Holy C compiler? I believe there is, because if you go on to the, I guess, Terry Davis Memorial site sort of thing, where they have his files uploaded, there's a make file for Holy C. So you can probably install it on your Nix system. Michael Valentino says, my IBM XT died, but the original monitor lives on. My most prized piece of tech. Huh. I don't know. I don't really own much that's before like 486. So a few Z80 systems. I have a Heathkit. Reed Williams says, what keyboard do you use? Well, I just use the standard ThinkPad keyboard. Nicholas says, where is MMXChan? And if you don't know, that was one of my old projects where I hosted a image board. And, well, it was on a Pentium MMX. So that kind of explains the name there. I haven't really found another reason to host an image board. I might try it again soon. DistroTube says, can we shoehorn GNU into TempleOS? I'd prefer to run GNU/TempleOS. Or is recently, oh my god. I don't even think that's like exactly possible. I mean, it's like just in time compiled on like Holy C. It would be like a very, very shoehorned in project. And Mitchell Valentino says, I like TempleOS unironically. I wonder if there's an older build, Mitchell Valentino. Because maybe there's a slightly more stable one where you can essentially, I think this would actually be like a really interesting learning tool, especially if you wanted to teach someone C, because the syntax from normal C wasn't actually that far off, and it's really integrated well with the OS. Like, it is very simple to do things like draw lines and make little video game-like applications, it seems. Although the UI is so foreign to me, I sometimes feel like a moron when I'm messing around with it. Here, if you don't know, I can go to the top here. And for the first thing is when you're actually like doing something on the menu, you have to go like this while holding the mouse down if you don't know the key codes. It's kind of weird. I've never seen that before. DistroTube says no on Silverblue. I'm not quite sure. Oh, I guess it's some sort of Fedora thing. I've never used Fedora. We the People said, oh, I assume are you referring to Silverblue or TempleOS? Ethan says, is there memory leaks and stuff in TempleOS? I'm not really sure. It did randomly crash on me while I was using the demo options, but I also had the memory set to 512 megabytes, which is the minimum it'll run at, but I don't think that's what caused the crash. I have seen people running it, but they usually use the KVM option. I can't really use it, says Ron S. It's too busy on the screen. Yeah, it is quite busy on the screen, especially at a low resolution. It actually doesn't look that bad on the CRT monitor, though, at least in person. I imagine on the screen, the quality is quite reduced. DistroTube says, is TempleOS bloated? I don't think so. It has a 16 megabyte distro ISO. Lastglow says, yo, dude. Also, We the People is referring to Fedora Silverblue. And Lastglow asks, yo, dude, my T510 won't boot all of a sudden. Just get fan spin, light, and blink for a second. And then the power button lights up with no boot. How old is your T510? I mean, like, in terms of you using it. That could be RAM. I'm not exactly sure. By chance, it did not have like a sort of BIOS lock thing on it, and the CMOS battery went out, or something like that, right? Ethan says everything is running in kernel space, which is pretty not smart. It's a pain in the ass to write kernel space code. Man, I'm really bad at maintaining non-swearing. But I haven't really had well, I just kind of like the sort of interface thing. I mean, like, would it be equivalent to then like running DOS in non-protected mode, or I guess would that be the equivalency? I didn't really live through that era, so. Lasco says the BIOS is stock. It's like new. Lasco, like I said, when did you get it? Because it might be an issue with the RAM. And if it's an issue with the RAM, I mean, oh, you emailed me about the X200T. Okay, so currently I would try to sell things like X200Ts, but I do not have a hot air reflow station. And right now I need to buy like more Pomona flash clips. I actually ordered them a little bit earlier. I mean, I've been using the same, I think, two for quite a while. I got one shipped to me that was DOA. By that, I mean one of the copper leads was chipped, which made it not a very good flash clip. Isaac Mullen says, "Hi, it's Kitty from Discord." Well, hi, Isaac Mullen. Alan Gomez says, X220 here, ARC BSPWM. I haven't really used BSPWM, and Isaac Mullen, I'm sorry. Lasglow says, I tried it with different RAM. Oh, he's referring to his T510 earlier. They tried it with different RAM and a different CPU with no luck. Well, I mean, there's different RAM, a different CPU, and it's still not posting. You might have a dead motherboard, which in that case, it is swappable. It is a little bit more work than the other two fixes. But if that's up your alley, I would go for it. If you can get a motherboard relatively cheaply. iQuickson says, if you could walk into a Micro Center or other hardware store and get any parts for a PC build and cost was not an issue, what parts would you choose? I would probably try to make it the most expensive thing ever, then sell it and nab a very nice mechanical keyboard and keep that. Peter R says, will you make speaker modifications on an X220 from a Nexus 6P or iPad Mini 4? I don't really use the X220 as my main system anymore. I used to. It's quite a bit, well, I imagine it wouldn't be too hard to do that. I did make speaker modifications to an X200. DistroTube says, do you sell Libre booted ThinkPads with TempleOS pre-installed? Do you sell, I mean, it is probably possible with Core Boot to do something like that. But Libre boot defaults to Grub, and I'm not quite sure how, it might actually be okay with like CBIOS, not quite sure. So I don't sell those though. Last quote says, I really hope I win the T400 raffle though. That'd be much easier and Libre boot. Well, yeah, by the way, the T400 raffle ends on March 8th, probably whenever I feel like it on March 8th, because at some point I'm just gonna say someone won and, well, send it off to them and make a little ship-off video. So, yeah. Last quote, that is the fake DistroTube. It's DistroTube's clone. Ultra Half says, It's pretty sad that I can't get the old IBM ThinkPad in my country. That is a kind of bit sad. I do like the build quality on the older ones. Sleepy Dog says, do you also ship to Europe? Well, not on the raffle unless you can figure out shipping. And if you can't figure out shipping, I'm just going to raffle it off again. I have no clue how to do international shipping reliably. And frankly, most of the time when I actually do look it up, it comes out to be worth more than the item I'm selling. So that's kind of a whole ordeal. Rain Dog's data log says someone gave me an Apple G5. Literally never had Apple anything. Any ideas worth spending electricity in the Power PC, ISA? Well, I mean, you could if you can deal with the power usage of it, you can put. OpenBSD as a build for it. Also, there's still a Debian SID version for 64-bit PowerPC for Macs, I think. So I would go with the OpenBSD one, though. We the People asked, how do you enter? Well, originally I asked people to follow me or post me somewhere and then email me, but honestly, just email me. And I'll send an email back on March 8th if you win. It's probably about 4 or 5% odds. I don't know. I'm probably just going to write a program that randomly picks one or find some sort of utility that does that already. And maybe I'll write just a little C program. Not sure. And maybe I can do it in Holy C. Actually, if I can get the normal, if I can get Holy C to compile on my system, I might actually do that. iQuicksim says, I like and use older hardware, but not as much as you. I find your restraint and modesty admirable. I'm always drooling over the latest and greatest hardware. Well, it's not really restraint and modesty. It's more of that I kind of enjoy the building aspects and the, I guess, more sort of physical freedom in terms of repair, and also freedom as in freedom on the older hardware situation. At the moment, I think this T500 quad core is going to last me for a while, but my only issue with it in terms of performance I've had so far is the lack of OpenGL 3.2 support for Open Broadcast Studio. DistroTube says, Holy C is limited though. You might have to throw in a little JavaScript. Actually, searching through random emails through a text document, that needs to be an Electron app. Maybe I'll write actually scratch that. I think I'm going to write a whole ASP.NET, application for it, and start hosting it with a MySQL server, then enter in all the emails, and then afterwards I can have an Electron app enter the info or something. I don't know. Anyways, though, let's see. Let me not get too behind on here. We the People says, I used to run BSD for my name servers. Well, that's a good use of BSD. What BSD, out of curiosity? Oh man, sorry, my mouse pointer is on there, so I can't quite. Here, let me Control G really quick. Oh shit, I'm still in the terminal. Or not terminal, but VM. What did I just? Okay. I thought it was Control G. And sometimes I have an issue with getting out of these applications. But here, let me just select that. Escape. Okay, sorry, I am missing. I'm gonna start at Ethan because I'm stuck in here till it's done reinstalling. It seems. Um, Having everything run in user space is asking for instability. If you deference a null pointer or do anything, it will just crash and sometimes corrupt your hard drive. This is the reason it's unstable. Yeah, that might be an issue. Honestly, if they just included something to like refresh the, it is just in time compiled anyways, but yeah, I guess if everything's in user space, that might be a little bit of an issue. If you're not running it off a ROM or something. I actually have it set up where it's it says unable to connect to chat. Oh my god. Well, okay, let me see if I can answer people's questions while that's happening. Ron S says older hardware is superior for me. Chef Geoffrey says sup to you. Ethan says, by user, I mean kernel. Yeah, I guess that makes sense a bit more. I'm still a little bit unfamiliar with TempleOS, but it does seem to crash a bit. I know it's all like layer 0, I believe, or 1. I need to look up the vocabulary in that. Lastbo says write it in Java, and no, I agree with you, Ron S. No. DistroTube says Electron sounds good. Package it as a snap, please. Oh my god, I'm not doing that. But let me see if I can get out of here so I can reconnect to the chat. So Control Alt G does not do what Control Alt G typically does. Okay, let me check here. By the way, I can't connect to. Oh man. By the way, I can't connect to chat right now for some reason. So I don't know if people are still seeing the stream. Let me get this camera set up for a second. Maybe. I don't know. Okay. Okay. Let me check. Please try again later. And I had to kill my installation. Get out of it. It's a little bit buggy, even the installer. So I'll talk about TempleOS, not FreeBSD. But unable to connect to chat. I'm not quite sure what to do about that.